Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So today we're gonna get into some American expats that are actually in the UK, in the United Kingdom, and we're gonna hear their stories and really hear what they gotta say. If y'all see something on my shirt, I was grubbing pretty hard, so I don't spill some food on my shirt, but it's all good. With that being said, what's smoking on my dragons, divine, righteous, almighty, greats, overachieving, never slacking. And today we're flying over to the UK. Still pretty new to this display, the visual display thing, but since we're going over, written, text, we don't have to. We're not gonna have to worry about like volume or anything like that. So, with that being said, let's hop into it. Here we go. This person right here, moving two cats from US to UK, our experience. I always did wonder about moving pets. That's actually one thing with all my reactions, my expat reactions specifically in the UK. I haven't heard anybody talk about moving pets. So this person says, we just finished moving two cats from the US to the UK. This was just our experience, and I'm definitely not an expert, but things went overall really well. Background: we were moving two 8-year-old cats from Southeast USA to South England. My cats have hardly been in a car before, let alone a plane, so I was extremely concerned how they would handle it. Travel method: we wanted to keep our cats with us the entire time, so we chose to fly into France, then drive into England. We flew from a small local airport to Atlanta, 1 hour flight, then from Atlanta to CDG, 8 hour flight. We were picked up by a pet taxi. Wow, they got a pet taxi company? Folkestone Taxi? And took Le Chateau into England. I had no, I didn't even know they had pet taxis. What? Where have I been? Pet taxis? They got those? Hmm. They got those. Let me see how much. Okay. Someone said, I absolutely love to see posts like this. Yeah, this is my first time, honestly, seeing a post like this or hearing someone even talk about like their pets and just flying them abroad or anything like that. I appreciate you taking the time to post this. As someone who just came to the UK almost 6 months ago, it's because of posts like this I figured out how I get my two babies here. I hope you're all able to get some well deserved rest, as I know from personal experience this journey is an intense one. Best wishes. Yeah, that's the thing, too. When people talk about their experiences like this, it really does help others because, when people are talking about moving and there's so many people who want to take like want to make that leap and want to do those big life changes. There's people who may have pets, and to hear someone who has experienced what it's like to transport pets, and they're giving you the breakdown. It just helps people tremendously, tremendously. Someone said, as a cat lover, it warms my heart to read about the well planned and exceptional care that you put into this. I hope both your precious fur babies enjoy a healthy, long life in their new home. This is actually really awesome. This is really awesome. Like I said, I haven't heard anyone actually talk about transporting pets. Not that I can remember. No, not transporting pets abroad like that. I got three ball pythons myself. That makes me wonder what the laws are like in the UK with ball pythons. But I'm pretty sure there's people like breeders in the UK, snake breeders for sure. So I'm pretty sure they're legal out there. Someone said, let's see. Thank you. I'm saving this post. So did you go straight from the airport in Paris to the taxi to England? No rest in between. This person replied, said, yep, taxi driver picked us up from CDG. We drove to Calais, took Le Chateau, sounds so fancy, then went straight to England. That part of the journey took about 5 hours. This person's like, how do you have the strength to go on? I've done a lot of travel from the US to Europe, and I can't sleep. Listen, you got to be built for certain things. You just got to mentally prepare first. The response was, to be honest, it was really stressful and tiring. I slept for about 3 hours on a plane. For two cats, two house certificates, France plus Great Britain, the vet exam, and an overnight FedEx label, it cost $750. Okay. Now, I don't think that's too bad, for for such a big lifestyle change. Someone said driving in USA with UK license. I'm trying to think now. Hold on, let me think. Do I know anybody who's done that? Nope. Nope. This is new. Hi all. I don't know if they meant to say hi y'all. Just moved back to the US and have some questions about driving. I live in Pennsylvania. My Pennsylvania license expired while I was living abroad, and I need to go in person to Pennsylvania to get a photo taken for a renewal. For the renewal, am I allowed to drive in the USA with my UK driving license as an American? I have seen advice online that it's allowed for British visitors to drive for up to 1 year with a UK license, but wasn't sure if that applies for American returners. Someone said you can apply for an international driving permit with your UK license. So hey, you learn something new every day. You could drive up to 1 year in Pennsylvania with a UK license. Each state is different. That's awesome. It's actually really awesome. It's pretty lenient. Someone said kids in the UK school system. As a follow up to my previous post about American international schools, can anyone share their experience of putting their kids in the UK school system who are in the US school system? My kids are currently finishing 5th grade in California, wondering now if I'm overthinking with feeling like we should stick to US international school to ease the transition. Has anyone had success transitioning their preteens to the UK school system from the US? Let me see what the answers say here. At that age, it's not all that much different. It doesn't seem to really get different until about 9th grade in the U.S. Year 10 UK. My youngest started year 9 this year. She'd be in 8th grade in the States, and honestly, there isn't much different. Okay. She had to choose between French and German as opposed to French and Spanish. But otherwise, the subjects are basically the same. The homework seems similar. She adapted to the work with no problem. So yeah, I got to hear 3 hours ago people saying that it's not much of a difference as far as the education. Which honestly, I'm a little shocked. I'm a little shocked because due to the videos I've reacted to and things I've heard, I would assume that they would be like, "Oh man, the U.S. Education system sucks," and that's what I would assume, from what I've seen. Someone else said I didn't transfer mine. They went 100% through the English system from 4 to 18, mostly the state public. If I had to do it over, I would not send them to any state school. One went private for sixth form, and that was hugely beneficial. We thought the fees were too expensive, but we could have just about managed it, and the damage done by the horrendous attitudes to learning in life by the other students and even many of the staff has cost us parents more in the long run trying to right the derailed studies and repair low self-esteem. That's definitely something to think about. When you talk about public schools, you got to be careful because a kid can, especially when they're in that developmental stage, they say um, that logical part of your brain doesn't really develop till you're 25 years old. What is it, like the frontal lobe or something like that from? And so when you got kids who are in that development stage, and they you can meet one person that can influence them the wrong way, and we all know, that one wrong decision can lead you on a pathway, the highway to hell. I might have to react to that song one of these days, but it can lead you on to the highway to hell. And kids, next thing you know, they might be smoke something and they want to try something else, and before you know it, they feed, like they just somebody else, and opened up a whole new gateway to, like I said, to hell. So you got to be very, very careful, with the peer pressures and things like that. Someone said Juneteenth in the UK. Hello, I hope everyone is well. This post is specific for Black Americans and Americans in general living in the UK. I'm curious to know what sort of events are in the UK for Juneteenth, especially if there are any. I seem to have trouble finding any if there were these sort of events. What would people want from them? Certain celebrations or just specific things? I am from the UK and I'm aware of the celebrations and the reasons behind it, but am unsure on specifics for it. If anyone could advise and give some understanding and information, that would be appreciated. I will respond further if anyone has any questions as to why I asked. Thank you for the help. Okay, so let's see what people have to say about this. Black American here. I'll share a few nuances that may be helpful for your understanding. Historically, Juneteenth represents the day that, or the day the last of the enslaved Black Americans were informed of their freedom. They were then free, but without resources, no land, education, cash, health care, or access to public/government funds. We imagine there was both relief and terror in the new state of liberation, and that's why Black Americans have always gathered together to acknowledge Juneteenth. It's about sharing the burden of oppression while expressing some sense of hope and possibility. Both are important. Okay, but hold on, let me. Someone said, "White American here. Thank you so much for sharing this. Really appreciate the context and nuance. Juneteenth is so specific to the U.S. I would be really surprised if there were celebrations for it here. The holiday has absolutely no tie to UK culture. If you're looking to start your own event, that's a whole other thing. But I imagine it would be difficult to get much traction." I feel like that was a definitely fair enough answer. Someone said, "I would be surprised if there are any. I didn't even know what Juneteenth was until some of my Texas friends were confused. It wasn't celebrated in New York." See, I'm from New York, and I'm gonna be real. I've never celebrated Juneteenth ever. I'm gonna like, to be honest. I didn't really even know what it was. I thought it was new about 5 years ago. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't lived in the States in 15 years, but I always understood it to be a Texas thing. Yeah. See, I thought it was. I don't know. I think that was. I wasn't even expecting that question. Uh, Someone said, "I'm moving to Portsmouth. I just got my official. This 2 days ago. I got my official offer, and I'm going to teach in Portsmouth. My little family is jumping across the pond. I'm so excited. Portsmouth seems like a fairly walkable city to me, or am I delusional?" So someone said most UK cities are a lot more walkable than most US cities, which, once again, from doing so many reactions, let me just check something real quick. But from doing so many reactions, that's one thing I definitely noticed is, and that I love about overseas in the UK, Europe period, is like there's just so much more people walk so much more. I always talk about that. But this person said most UK cities are a lot more walkable than most US cities. Obviously, state dependent, and Pompeii is no different. You may want a way to get out of Pompeii. Pompeii, is it? From time to time, but there's decent rail and bus links to get you started off. In theory, of course, definitely go and check out the Isle of Wight and make the most of routes to France and beyond. That's awesome. Someone else said, "Congratulations, most UK towns and cities are walkable. You'll need a car for going out to out of town places like DIY stores, but for the most part, you can walk most places." See, like the town I live in Pennsylvania right now, it's not walkable. I mean, yeah, you got your certain areas, you got certain trails, but if you trying to like go to the mall, if you're trying to go to certain area spots where usually you'll need to go, right? Like it's the highways all like, and then there's no like walk path. It's just crazy. Like it's not really big on bikes and walking here. And me being from upstate New York, like where I'm from in upstate, there was so much. It's always somewhere to bike or walk. It's always something like built for the walkers, and even when I lived in New York City, like always something for the walkers and for the bikers. So that's one thing about where I'm at in PA that really did kind of like strike a nerve. I'm just like, why? Like people need that. Not everybody is in a car. Some people are just too comfortable with cars. So when I hear about places being very walkable, it just gets me excited. Someone said, "Moving soon from US to the UK." This 6 hours ago. Dang, it's a lot of people moving, man. It's a lot of people. Hello. Let me make sure I just got to kind of check where I'm at in the camera here. Okay, so I've probably been a little out of the camera the whole time, but it's all good. Hello, all. Browsed here in the past to maybe learn a thing or two, but it's getting close to my jumping time. I really only own a home computer and a bunch of clothes. I originally moved out to New York with the PC and a suitcase and just another duffel bag, and one more suitcase of clothes. Now I somehow have 4 pairs of shoes and double the amount of jackets and an odd little trinket here and there. Just wondering what my options are. Don't need to worry about furniture, so not sure. But last time I tried to mail the one chair I own to where I'm going, it was going to be like $300. So that chair is staying. I'd imagine all of my clothes weigh more than the chair could. Okay, so someone said I highly recommend sendmybag.com. Let me just stop right here and say this is the beautiful thing about the internet. This is the beautiful thing. If you're making a big change in your life, if you like want to learn something, put something together real quick or take something together quick or some type of DIY, like the internet's really good for that. It's a university because it's like look that's such important information. To go on Reddit and look at things like this, like sendmybag.com for things you don't fly with. It's fast, reliable, and relatively inexpensive. Like, come on, that's all I had to see right there. Like, that's awesome. I'm gonna sendmybag.com. I need to write that down. Like, someone said it's coming together and I'm terrified. It's from 14 days ago. My work is agreeing to sponsor a visa for me to move from the States to England. I will be moving with my spouse and two young kids from a very red state and do feel like this is the right choice for us. We're so lucky that my job can sponsor the visa and I'm keeping my pay rate that I have in the States. All of that said, this is massive and I'm terrified. We'll be moving early fall and I'll have 2 work trips over this summer. There's so much to do. Any advice on a checklist? How to handle all the things I know I'm not even thinking of yet, or general help will be greatly appreciated. My oldest will be school age, so even registering her for that seems huge. Honestly, shout out to this person. What is it? No underscore peach 1484. I mean, to do something that you're scared of. People need to experience that in life. I believe in people doing something that scares you. I believe in that. Is growth comes out of that, major growth, and the fact that she's going on with it and not going into that what if stage. I think that's awesome, and obviously you got a lot of comments here that are congratulating her and just giving her proper advice. I mean, once again, that is the beauty of the internet, guys. This is what is amazing about the internet. Um, just the connections people make and the help that they're able to get. So, wow. Someone asked about a running group in London. As summer approaches, hopefully it would be nice to meet up with some American expats in London for occasional runs. Anyone based in North London, please feel free to comment or honestly, this is amazing. Once again, this is the beauty of the internet. This is amazing. If you ever see me running, keep up because it means something really bad has happened. People are funny. So say hi, I'm in North London, NW5. What's that? Northwest 5, and would definitely be interested. See, that's awesome. It says there's a woman running group made up primarily of moms of kids at the American school. Wow. So, wow, you just learn a lot. Honestly, I feel like if I was a comment in here, I would get a lot of feedback. Asking questions. That's great. So for anybody that maybe moving to the UK or already is in the UK and you may have some things that you want to express, or maybe you've been looking for somebody that you might want to meet up with, or like a group or something like that, then yeah, I would say go to Reddit and look up the subreddit American Expats UK. I just think it's really awesome. Really awesome. Nobody was getting like knocked, meaning like no one was getting downed or belittled, or everybody was just like very very cool, like making cool funny jokes, or just very supportive. And hold on, US versus UK parenting differences. Man, that might have to be another video. That might have to be in another video. See, it's like so many people asking questions: stay in the US or move to the UK. Like this is a very very busy a thread right here. This whole subreddit, it's packed. People are in there. They're asking questions and people are answering. So. But shout out to anybody who's ever done anything terrifying in their life, like moving across overseas. Definitely not something easy to do. but I'm sure things work out for a lot of those people. Just the fact that they're even like asking questions and they're finding healthy, positive ways to convey that message of that they're scared, and and getting positive feedback back. That says a lot about the type of people they are, and they're that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm really rooting for all those people. With that being said, though, yeah, I'll be back with more soon. If you enjoyed this video, if you're an expat, definitely don't hesitate to comment. Let me know your experiences, and yeah, if you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to hit that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. I'll be back with more soon. Much love.